What's going on, y'all? It's your boy Kev, man, back with another video, man. Today, we're going to talk about sports personalities. They don't often get talked about because they're typically the ones doing the chatting about the athletes. But I'm going to go through and review each and every one of them, or at least the prominent ones. So if you ain't make this list, keep working. But let me get right to it. So first, we got a top dog in the game. I'm not going to front, even though I got a love-hate relationship with my boy. And that's Stephen A. Smith. Stephen A. Smith, I think there's gotten to a point where you're a little too brash, a little too cocky, but at the same time, I understand that that's the personality. That's what comes along with it. And I'm not one of those people that acts like I know who you may be outside of your actual personality life. You may be different, you may be cool and humble, but on camera, it's a little too cocky for me. It's a little too cocky for me. Nonetheless, though, I appreciate everything that you're doing, breaking barriers and all that stuff, but just pipe that down for your boy just a little bit. Kendrick Perkins. See, I'm old enough to remember you hooping, Kendrick Perkins. And I'm not going to say anything disparaging, but your analysis on basketball, it's neither here nor there. I would appreciate your breakdowns from a center perspective, but I don't really want to hear your analysis when it comes to a full game, just my cup of tea. But I understand why you at ESPN, why you doing your thing. You got a great personality, you're good in front of the camera, but from a hooper's perspective, I'm not really that interested. JJ Redick. JJ, man, you kind of got this arrogance about you that sometimes I like and sometimes I don't. Being a shooter, I appreciate that. You were nice at Duke. You were nice throughout the league. In a game that got increasingly athletic, you still found a way to make a mark, and I salute you for that. But when it comes to this sports personality stuff, just be comfortable in your skin. You don't need to be getting out of pocket, because sometimes you talk a little crazy, and whether that's the Stephen A. or your take about a certain issue, stay in your pocket, stay in your lane. That's my advice. And who the fuck am I? But a budding star, I think JJ Redick is going to be around for a long time. But yeah, stay in your lane. Richard Jefferson. I think Richard Jefferson is probably the most underappreciated sports personality that we have. I think Richard Jefferson is his authentic self. I think he is incredibly well-rounded, and I think his career doesn't get the respect that it deserves. Unlike JJ Redick and unlike Kendrick Perkins, Richard Jefferson was really that motherfucking dude. Richard Jefferson was a baby Vince Carter. Richard Jefferson was playing at a high level and was a main piece of the offense. And I feel like he doesn't get the respect that he deserves because he often jokes around a lot, and so I get that. But much respect to Richard Jefferson. I put him up there with the likes of Stephen A. Smith, and I think he should get a lot more respect. Brian Windhorst, probably one of my favorite people on TV. Seems like a great guy to go have a drink with and just talk sports with. And I know he has his podcast as well, but I want to continue to see him rise above. I actually think he can do all sports. I don't think he just needs to stay with basketball. I think he's that talented where he could do bigger and better things. I think he is incredibly likable, great in front of the camera, knowledgeable, passionate. And I think as far as like the People's Champion Award, at least for me, I'd have to give it to Brian Windhorst. So salute to you. Max Kellerman. Max Kellerman is great. I don't have much bad things to say about Max Kellerman. I think he's done a great job of being adaptable, and I think he's confident. I think no matter who he's in front of, whether it's Stephen A. or he's doing his own show or he's on somebody else's show, I think he makes his presence known in a genuine way. I think he has a great story, and I think that his perspective is also real. I don't think when it might seem as a hot take, I don't think he's doing it to be a hot take. I think that's really just what he feels like saying. And I think we all have friends like that where even though they're saying some crazy-ish, we know that's how they really feel. Jay Will. Jay motherfucking Will. Little arrogant for me. He kind of fits in that JJ Redick category. Again, I'm old enough to remember him at Duke, and he was a bad man. He was the real deal. You got to appreciate somebody with the resilience that he has to go through what he endured and to still be as successful as he is today. But as a sports personality, again, kind of JJ-ish, rubs me the wrong way. I think he has some great, intelligent, intuitive takes, especially, on the game of basketball. But I feel like I don't really connect with him. I feel like maybe his personality doesn't come all the way through on the camera, or maybe it does, but it's just not for me. But nonetheless, I respect his accolades and respect what he's been able to do even after going through a tough situation. But not really my cup of tea. Keyshawn Johnson. As a fellow Johnson, it's always much love. As a Californian, it's always much love. And I mean this with all due respect, but he is the ESPN's Shannon Sharpe. I don't think Keyshawn wants to do as much as Shannon Sharpe, as far as I think if Keyshawn wanted to be on First Take every morning, I think he would be. I think he is a Michael Irvin, Shannon Sharpe, Skip Bayless type of personality. I think that if he really wanted to divulge himself in the craft and really be the best at this, I think he could. But I think the reality is he's doing what he's doing. I'm sure he has a great life and makes great choices. And because of that, he can just stay comfortable in his lane. So I think he does a great job. But I think if he really wanted to make an indent, he'd be somebody to watch out for. Shannon Sharpe. You got to tip your hat off. To me, if we're talking about the last 2 years, I think he's the #1 sports personality in the game, or close to it, or in the top 3. I think he does a great job of using his enduring features as far as his personality goes. Like, I feel he does a great job giving you partially the real him, but I don't know if we're getting the real Shannon Sharpe. And as I record this, he is recently separating from Undisputed with Skip Bayless until the NBA Finals. And I'm interested to see what's going to happen. He has his own podcast, Club Shay Shay, which I'm a subscriber. I love watching it. And I hope that he continues to ascend. I hope he continues to challenge himself. And I hope he doesn't just go independent. I hope he still stays with a big network, whoever that may be, because I think he's a force to be reckoned with. And I'd love to see what's next for him. But I think as Stephen A. Smith starts to enter his sunset, I think we're going to see a lot of special things come from Shannon Sharpe, and he's going to be that dude in the next wave. Skip Bayless, the OG, been around for a minute. I think I heard he's in his 70s or he's 70. And I know he's hated by a lot of people. Charles Barkley, I know people are coming down hard on him because Shannon is leaving. But you're looking at a real master of his craft. I mean, you're looking at a Steph Curry, you're looking at a Michael Jordan, you're looking at a real savant when it comes to the game, or really not even the game, really sports and how to be a sports personality. And you may not like his takes, it may be extra hot at times, but you are really watching a master at work. He is that villain in your favorite movie. And when I watch movies where I hate a character, I always step back and go, damn, much love to that character, because they're playing a character. And for them to get me so built up and feel a certain way means that they're doing their job extremely well. And I think when it's all said and done, God forbid if he was to retire, or if anything, God forbid, was to happen, I think the whole industry would be shaken. I think he is one of those people, unfortunately, that's going to get his flowers when he's not here. But I'm here to give Skip his flowers, man. You're the real deal. You birthed a lot of these people in the game, some of the people that I already talked about. And I hope even after this breakup with Shannon Sharpe that you're still able to find your footing. I would like to put Nick Wright in that category to step in there, but just make sure you pick somebody good, man. Colin Cowherd. Personally, this is my favorite. And you know why he's my favorite? Because he is the Tiger Woods, the LeBron James. He is the Tony Gwynn of baseball. He's always consistent. He's always professional. Yet he opens up a little bit of his world to us. He's passionate about all his topics. He fosters young talent, teaches them, plays a mentor, if you will. He is the real deal. And it's going to be a sad day when Colin Cowherd decides to hang it up. There's that movie, The Gentleman. I think that's what it is. And to me, he is the gentleman of the sports personality space. If you got a bad thing to say about Colin, you probably just need to look in the mirror. Take a deep look at yourself. Because to me, he seems to do things the right way, show up on time, do a damn good job, and bring it every single time he records. That's my #1. Chris Broussard. Chris Broussard, man, another underappreciated sports personality. Chris Broussard brings, I don't even know how to put it into words, but he's that voice in the room that everybody knows is there. He is that needed voice in the room that everybody wants to hear. And Fox did a great job, #1. I don't know how it shook out with ESPN, but getting him from ESPN. And #2, putting him on First Things First with Nick Wright, because I think that's the best show on television right now. Yes, I think that's better than First Take. I think it's better than Undisputed. And I think because of the group, of the cohesiveness, of the fun that they have, of the seriousness that they take in their stances. It is the #1 show. They're kind of like the Miami Heat right now. Just all of them show up to play every single time. But if you were to separate them all individually, I don't think they would rise above what they could all do together. But Chris Broussard is one of my favorite NBA sports personalities. Nothing critical to say about Broussard, but I love every time he comes on, whether he's on Cowherd or he's doing his own thing on First Things First, or he has his podcast with Rob Parker, who's a dark horse. So much love to Chris Broussard. Nick Wright, the motherfucking future. I ain't gonna lie, man, at first, he got on my motherfucking nerves, man. I could not stand Nick Wright. But you can see this persistent grinder, hustler, first one in, last one out type of vibe when you look at Nick Wright. He's that basketball player that isn't the nicest, but he's always hustling from the minute the ref throws the jump to the second that the game is over. I mean, he's not stopping. He's going 100 every time, and he deserves everything that he's getting. I think he's grown into himself better than I could have ever seen. I think that he brings a unique, intelligent perspective, a modern perspective to sports. I think when it comes to being the most realistic sports personality, it's him. Like, he is the logical sports personality out of everybody that I've mentioned. It's Nick Wright. If you want to get what's really going on from a logical perspective, not a blown up hot take, far left, far right. If you just want the logical, smartest take, you need to go to Nick Wright. And I'm not meaning to rhyme this, but his future is bright. It'll be interesting, as I mentioned, if he joins Skip on Undisputed, what they do with him. But Fox got a star in Nick Wright, and that's also a person I love watching. He's not my #1 yet, but I suspect in the next couple of years he'll start to get there. Joy Lewis, again, not enough credit, in my opinion. I think she is the full package. I think she is intelligent. I think she knows sports. With all due respect, I think she's beautiful as well. To be critical, I don't love the new show. I don't love the name of it, Speak. I don't love the format. I would have liked to see her by herself. I would like to see her break that space. If my knowledge is correct, I don't believe there is a woman who has their own show. I think Joy is the one to break those barriers, and I would like to see that happen, but I don't love the new show. So I hope Fox takes a look at the show, takes a look at what she really can do, and put her in a position where she can continue to thrive, because she's the real deal. Acho, I don't know his last name, but Acho. Gotta appreciate the hustle. I would like to see him settle in a little bit. I think it's a little too much at times, a little too boisterous, a little too loud, if you will. Sometimes less is more, but you got to appreciate his hustle. You got to appreciate, I believe he might have been on ESPN to start, and now he's on Fox Sports. His brother also does his thing, and maybe in the next 5 to 10 years, he starts to ascend. But I think he just needs to tone it down just a little bit. You don't need to be like those in the past. You just need to be you, and the rest will start to take form. I don't think he's ready personally for a big spot like the fill in the shoes of Shannon Sharpe at Undisputed. I think he needs to continue to refine a little bit. I also don't know/trust his takes on anything outside of football, and that's something that with the aforementioned people, you need to be well-rounded. I need to be able to believe, trust, and want to hear your takes on just more than one sport. Unless you're a Brian Windhorst, unless you're a Wojnarowski, if you're not the best in that sport, then you need to make sure that you're well-rounded. So I don't really have too much more to give Acho, but we'll see what happens with him in the future. And shout out to the hustle, though. I definitely appreciate that. This is your boy Kev. Let me know what you think about all my takes on the sports personalities. What's your top 3 sports personality out there? Is it Stephen A? Is it Max Kellerman? Is it Colin Cowherd? Is it Skip Bayless? Who's your #1, #2, and #3 spot? I'd love to know. Holla at your boy. I'm out.